G'day, it's Jamie and welcome to Where's My Yowie. Today I'm reading an old newspaper report about a Yowie sighting at Creewah in 1907, so we'll get into it. This was published in the Yass Courier on Thursday the 31st of October 1912, titled The Bombala Story and the Strange Animal. Mr. R.W. Dawson writes to the Penny Post, 1907, I was riding in the neighbourhood of Creewah, in the thick bush east of Bull Hill. At a particular place on the bridle track, my horse became very nervous, snorted, and trembled under me till I thought of dismounting. He evidently smelt something uncommon. However, I put it down to wombats and urged him on. I went about 2 miles and got off my horse to cross a swamp and left him to feed, with the bridle trailing. He was a rogue, which I did not know at the time, and when I approached, he made off at good pace back onto the track I had gone. I lost sight of him, but followed his tracks. When I came near to where he was so nervous, I found he had left the bridle track. Of course, I did not know why at the time, but I followed, and some distance afterwards looked along the track to see if the horse was in sight. I saw in front of me a dark object, which I mentally took to be a peculiar looking stump. But before I could give a second thought, it bounded off at right angles. My surprise cannot be described, but I took it to be a man running to block my horse. I listened to hear if my horse was running, and noticed the pace, the stride, and the force of the footfalls of my friend. I saw it run quite 100 yards at a distance of about 75 yards away. It appeared to be a tall man with a fur cap and pea jacket, and running with a peculiar attitude. Not hearing my horse or any sound, after a few moments I went on after my horse and found his tracks after he had deviated, apparently having sighted the same object as I did. I did not pay much attention to the experience at the moment, being too anxious to get my horse, being a distance from any habitation, and it being an hour of sundown with miles of open country. I got my horse about 2 miles on, and then the facts began to force themselves on me, and then I concluded that I had seen something out of the common, either a wild man or an animal, as the whole thing occurred so suddenly, and my conclusion was that it was a man endeavouring to block my horse. I did not think about it until I was settled on my journey. I described what I saw that night to Mr. Charles Taylor of Holt's Flat. He did not give much evidence to it, but one of the Summeralls informed me that he had actually seen a hairy man in the neighbourhood a short time before. His description, given voluntary, so coincided with what I saw that I have remained convinced ever since that there was something unusual. Another feature is this, that I spoke to Mr. Fred Heffernan of Thoko some time afterwards, and he said he had many a hunt for some animal because of the peculiar footprints he had seen. If my memory serves right, similar to what Mr. Jepcott describes, but failed to find it. Subsequently, I was approached by a resident living in the rough hills between Gunningra and Bungabi to go out and take other citizens with me and examine some peculiar footprints in the creek. The description tallies with Mr. Heffernan's. These two places, Creewah and Bungabi, are 40 miles apart. Editor's note. Mr. Dawson has in his possession a letter written by him to his daughter in 1907, in which he gives all account of the experiences as recorded above. Recent reports in Sydney press naturally brought the whole affair back to his memory. Editor, EPI. The end. Well, that's pretty interesting, amazing story. I like how when he first saw it, he wasn't sure what he was looking at, and he thought it was a man with a fur hat on. And like that's so typical of a lot of people that see Yowies. They don't know what you're looking at first, and your brain wants to convince you otherwise. But what made me giggle and laugh a bit was, so you're out there with your horse, and it's nearly dark, and like you see, your horse is your only means of transport to get back to safety, and probably the only thing that could outrun a Yowie. And the thing took off on you, and you got to chase after it. Oh, that must have been so frustrating. Okay, that's it from me. I'll get back to you all next time. Bye.